All right, we're live. What's up,
Awesome.
guys? Steve Bancourt here. I'm here with a new friend. You know, heard about this guy originally on a conference, and what he was talking about was really very interesting and I think super important. So I immediately connected with him. I had the good pleasure of him reaching out and saying, "Hey, we should do something to bring value to people." And now he's here, so I'm super excited. I'm here as here to learn from this guy. Has a lot of experience. So today I have I'll let him talk about himself in a little bit, but Chuck Fazio, he's based out of Arizona. He ran one of the largest independent brokerages in the whole country.
Mhm.
And yeah, we want to just bring value to people. I want to ask him about how he was able to build this real estate empire, because at the end of the day, that's what we want to strive for, right? We want to build a real business that's profitable and that can help more people, right? So Chuck, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate your time. So please give yourself an intro.
All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate being here and on a nice Saturday morning. And one of the things I start out with is I never even thought I'd be in real estate. I grew up in New York, and I never even owned a house up until in my early 30s when I moved out to Arizona. And I used to run nightclubs for a living, and I understand that back east mentality, the fast pace. Um, you
Mhm.
know, so when I moved out to Arizona, it was kind of a bit of a culture shock for me. Some people, I guess, don't really know how to work that hard. But I was always used to working two, three jobs at a time, just grinding and whatever I had to do to make it work. So when I moved out to Arizona to try to get a whole new lifestyle, at the time I had two kids and my first wife, but I already had family out in Arizona. So I wanted to do something I could make a lot of money in. And I was thinking about that. And I also want to be my own boss. So I said, well, let me get into real estate. And Arizona's great state to sell real estate in. At the time, the area I was in, a lot of new builds going up and a lot of growth. It's a very transient state. So I went to real estate school and I hate school. So I was like sitting through these classes going, what the hell am I getting myself into here? And, for those people out there that might be thinking of getting into real estate or are in real estate school now, the whole joke is what you're going to learn in school is not what you take with you out in the real world for real estate. They're just teaching you to pass a test pretty much. So anyway, I passed the test on my license with Keller Williams because they said they training, coaching, and obviously that's what you want, as much training and coaching as possible, and you're willing to give up whatever percentage need be to get that. Well, my first 2 years in the business, I quickly realized how difficult real estate is. And I was broke and making no money in real estate. I was running security at a casino to make ends meet. I was working the graveyard shift. And in the interim, I was going through a divorce and I met my future wife. And I was on a team. And in walked my future wife one day. She was first day in real estate, and for me it was love at first sight. For her, she couldn't stand me, so it was really hit it off well. But anyway, to speed through, well, what happened? What happened between going broke and then becoming one of the top agents in the country, and then running one of the top teams? I always say it's by the grace of God, number one. And I said, I'm not going to listen to people. I'm going to follow people who are successful. And, one of the things I was starting to learn is a lot of people fail in this business. And basically, I would say God just led me to move out of KW. And nothing negative against KW at all. It was obviously my walk, my faith, and at the time I was dating my wife Angela, and we went to a brokerage that was just basically hang your license, no support, no training. So it was a little nerve wracking for us, but it gave me the opportunity to sink or swim. And I started just learning sales. I started learning real estate. And it was ironic because when we moved to this company, um, the joke was that this company had about 3,000 agents. So it was a large independent company here in Arizona. And when I was interviewing with them, they had a plaque on the wall with their top agents every year. So out of 3,000, they had their top agents. And I was there with my girlfriend, with Angela. And I joked around. I said, I'm going to be that number one agent. But meanwhile, here I am. I'm broke. I'm almost ready to get out of the business. And so anyway, we made the move. A couple of agents from KW said, hey, we want to be on your team. And I'm like, what the hell's a team, first of all, back then? We're talking about 2001. So it was a little while ago. And I'm broke. So I'm like, I don't know why these people want to hang around us. And they basically just said, wherever you go, we're going. We just want to be around your energy. So I'm like, all right. So after making the move, within 2 short years, we were already selling about 17 million in real estate, just me and Angela. We wound up getting married and just started growing from there, year after year, up to doing about 40 million a year. Just us, and the team would do about. I think we were in about the 80 million a year. So combined, we were over 100 million in sales, selling real estate. And I'm like, well, I think we made it, and I was happy. So that's the beginning years of me in real estate. Um, that's what we did. What I can tell people is work hard.
Got it. No,
Yeah,
that's interesting. So you went from going broke, right, in a short period of time, to now doing over 100 million. Can
we're
you talk a little bit about kind of the mindset shifts that you had during that time? Because when you're in such a negative state, right, when you're struggling, right, and you don't see any other way out of your situation, and you have bills to pay and you have a family to take care of, like how do you get out of that mindset? Like, what did you do?
that's a great question. And the crazy thing is, before I met Angela and when I was broke in the business, I was almost went into a state of depression, and I didn't even realize it. That's one of the reasons why a lot of the things I do now, I'll do. I travel all over the country doing talks about mindset because I've lived it, and it can creep up on anyone. And yeah, they're right behind me, midweek mind freak. That's what we do. But to answer your question, here's one of the things that I quickly realized, that we as human beings like to gravitate towards doing the stuff that's easy. Nobody wants to work hard. And especially when you're broke and you feel like nothing's working, it's very difficult to go, I need to just do these things. So here's what really, when I look back, and once again, I'm a big believer in the Lord, and God definitely guided us to have bigger things than where He brought us. But the number one thing I tell people that changed my life is my wife.
Mm.
And now it's not my wife. What she was my accountability coach. But I didn't realize that at the time because really we were dating. So she's my partner in real estate. And I couldn't not work because then I would have looked like an idiot. So if she's working, I had to work. And we started to work and we worked together. So I guess for me, I had a great partner who was my girlfriend at the time, then my wife. But here's what I challenge people. If you're in a funk, if you're struggling, the most important thing you need is an accountability coach. You have to. Over the course of the years, I own my own real estate school. I get like 100 students come out of there a month. I'm always talking to them. I'm talking to new agents. I'm talking to struggling agents. And Steve, here's the thing that I've realized over the years why most real estate agents fail in the business. The number one reason they fail is because they had no idea what they were getting into.
Hmm.
Nobody ever teaches them this is what you're actually getting into. Everybody's mindset, for the most part, is this: oh, I could be my own boss and I'm going to make a lot of money. That's the mindset. When you start off with that mindset and a speed bump gets in your way, you're done. You're done. You don't know how to overcome it because you weren't expecting that. So, what I tell people right off the bat, who you surround yourself right from the beginning matters. I got you want to be your own boss. I got you want to make money, but you got to pay the dues. You've got to do the work. You've got to be held accountable. This is not, oh, I'm my own boss and I'm going to do what I want to do. Oh, hell no. Especially, I'll talk about the company I built. The more you grow in ownership of owning your business, the more responsibilities you and accountability you need. And most agents fail because they don't work,
Hmm.
period. And they don't work because nobody's holding them accountable. And I always tell people who are struggling, this is what I tell them, because I got to change here first. If I don't change here, you're done. And here's what I say, and I never ask for an answer from them, but I say, I want to process. I want you to process this. If you were your own boss, would you have fired yourself already? And I really want people to dive down and think about that. When you're struggling, when you're failing, if you aren't true with yourself, you're done. And I have so many things I talk to new agents and struggling agents that I do all the time that either makes them step up or step out. Hey, look, I don't sugarcoat stuff. There are people in this industry that are not cut out to be in this industry. And I got no problem telling them that. But if they really want it, they're the ones that have to make it work. Here's another thing I tell people, especially people who have families. Like I deal with husbands or wives that have kids that are sitting there telling me they're struggling financially. And I look at them because, running a brokerage, I know how they work. You ain't BSing me. And I look at them and I'm like, you don't work. They think they work. And then I said to them, here's another thing I'll challenge you. I want you to go home. And I especially tell men this, husbands. At the end of the day, go home and get your whole family there. And then tell your wife and kids what you did for the day to support them. And then they look at you with this blank stare. Because these are the people I watch sitting in the office, bullshitting, sitting on Facebook, doing nothing. Think about it. If you had to go home and tell your kid, oh yeah, daddy was on Facebook for a few hours and then I was talking to this person and oh then I went to lunch for 2 hours, had a few drinks. Think about it. Tough. So mindset. Accountability coach is huge. Surrounding yourselves with like-minded people, huge. It's one of the reasons why I'm at EXP. Look, I ran one of the biggest brokerages in the country. Me and my wife did. But I could only go so far. I want to go bigger. And in order to go bigger, you have to be with bigger thinkers, like-minded people. It is critical when you stick around people, a bunch of people that are motivators, that think bigger than you. You can't help but think like them. That's why the phrase misery loves company is so big. People who are struggling like to be around other people who are struggling because they all like to bitch. So
Yeah. No, you said a lot of things there I want to touch on. And you mentioned, one of those reasons why you went to ESP was because the environment, the mentorship, and the thinking bigger, right? But before we go into that, so you mentioned your wife was your accountability partner without you realizing that. I think a lot of men struggle with finding a partner, right? How did you know that, or how can a person find out if that significant other is the right person for them? What signs come up?
So, let me try and process what you're asking. You're saying, how does somebody know if they should bring their spouse in as a partner?
Or just, yeah, that, or that that's the person, because you said that your wife was holding you accountable without even realizing it, and she was the one that kind of leveled you up, right? That's how you started really
Yeah.
thinking.
So in reality, it wasn't that she was being my accountability partner.
Right.
What she was doing is she was working, so I couldn't sit home and not work. So
Mm.
I worked with her. And there were days that she was down and out, and I'm the one that says, "Nope, let's get out there and work." So we didn't set out, either one of us, with the mindset that we're each other's accountability partners. We were just best friends and soulmates. And it just so happened that by us being like that, we were accountability partners, but we didn't look at it that way. And we're both the same personality. I was
Mm.
joking when I go, she's a female me. We're both drivers, if you understand a disc assessment. And there's no way either one of us planned on failing. So if you're asking, how does somebody know who to find, or is it their significant other? Um, I think what I've realized over the course of time, it's communication. So if somebody does have a spouse or a significant other and they're thinking about bringing them in the business, they should have that conversation to understand, number one, you're going to argue. It's their stress. We're going to hold each other accountable. I mean, my wife is my best friend, and we're so in tune from doing it. We're together all the time that we'll literally go like that in each other's face when you're a victim. So if you're being a victim, so we put a V up in your face. And it doesn't go over well sometimes when you're not in a good mood, but that's the type of relationship we have. We call each other out on the bullshit.
Right.
And here's another, just to just take it down another little path for people to understand. People get into real estate and they want to make a lot of money. And their definition of a lot of money could be 100,000, 200,000, half a million, a million, whatever that is. They're usually six-figure numbers. That's what people think. And then they look at somebody like an athlete and they look at the amount of money they make. Now, I've worked with a lot of pro football players, so I know their mindset. I know how they think and they speak. Here's what people don't realize. They don't see what goes on behind the scene. Every one of them has a coach. Someone held them accountable. Everyone, maybe even multiple coaches for different parts of their business. Every one of them. There's not one professional athlete that has not had an accountability coach or coaches in their career to make that kind of money. And yet we as real estate agents, which frustrates the crap out of me because I've coached and mentored thousands of agents. Their mindset, I'm like, dude, your mindset, you're lucky if you make 20,000 a year. You want to make this, but what you're willing to do and your work habits are this. And you have to listen to a good coach. Have to
Right.
get it.
No, so adding to that, going back to the mindset, the environment, and surrounding yourself with the right people. I wanted to mention the partner because I think a lot of people don't realize that, you become the average of the five people you spend the most time around with, right? And one of those people is your family and your spouse, right? And sometimes we don't even realize that, and unconsciously we're being, depending on where they are with their mindset, we're being affected, right, in a positive or negative way. So I think I just wanted to, because you said, you gave a lot of, you gave a lot, you mentioned your wife and how she helped you really get to that next level in business. And I think a lot of people, not just men, struggle with finding that right person because they look for the wrong things, right? And not the the things that we really need, right? And it goes back to mindset. Now, with the environment and coaches, like how do people find these people? How do you get in the right environment? How do you find it? How do you know if you have a good coach? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a great question because when we're living in a society in a day and age that everybody consider themselves gurus and masters. And one of the things that I always say, talk is cheap and do your homework. Do your homework by investigating what did that person do? What did that person accomplish? Ask for testimonials all the time. That's a big deal. And then from the testimonials, do your homework to see what they're doing. I joked around, this was years ago. There was an agent of mine that was always looking for the easy way of making money. And he's lucky if he sold 10 homes a year. So he stayed in business, but he sold pretty much nothing. Then I watched an ad through Facebook and then through emails about how to be a $1 million lister, list in the high end homes, learn from the one of the top luxury specialists. The ad was something like that, and I dug into it to go, who's training that? Who's calling himself that? And do you know what was that agent? He was just full of shit, and he was selling this online training and pumping himself up as this luxury home specialist. And and he was working out of Costa Rica. He moved to some island and he was making money by selling bullcrap. And there's a lot of people out there like that. So to answer your question, do your homework, see who's successful, ask them for advice. But here's the other thing. At EXP, I'm look, I'm just outright blown away by the level of support by the people that are working at a high level. And you can see their numbers. They're not BS numbers. And so that's what you do. You have to seek out those type of people, get on their teams, be around them, and do your homework prior.
For sure. No, I
Yeah.
think that's great advice. No, yeah. So I think that's super important. Being surrounded by the right people, the right mindset, the right coaches, the right mentors who are actually doing this stuff and who have done it.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, Steve, that a lot of people fall in this trap. They're enamored by low fees. I can't tell you how many agents will go, what do you, oh, you have an 80-20 split? I could go there for $25 a month, hanging license brokerage. And look, I'm not putting people down that think that way, but that is big. You have no idea what business is like when if that's what you're speaking in. So I give you, for example, as a business owner who's built a $2 billion company. That's what I built. If somebody comes to me and says, "Hey Chuck, I got a tool, a system that could help you generate more business," let's just say whatever it is, and then they say to me, "What are you willing to spend?" I look at them, I go, "That's the dumbest question I ever heard." I go, "What am I willing to spend?" It has spending money has nothing to do with growth. You can't save your way to wealth. So what I say is, what you should be saying is, here's your return on investment. Because if you said to me, "Chuck, this will cost you $50 a month," and most people are, "Oh, $50 a month, I'll pay $50 a month." And then I look at the person and I go, "Well, what is that capable of making you?" And they're like, "Well, I don't know, but it's only 50." I'm like, I want to make money. If you said something was $5,000 a month, but it only made me 5,000, I'm gonna like, no, that's not a good ROI for the risk. But if you said to me, "Chuck, this is going to cost you $100,000 a month," most people right away would go, "Oh, not nope." I go, "But you hear the other part. What if it could make you $1 million a month?" So
Mhm.
even if you didn't have 100,000 to invest, but it can make you $1 million. Oh, I bet you'd find a way of getting that $100,000. And it's the same mindset, these agents, that it's just sad that they look at the fees before they look at the value. Because I go, if you paid $25 a month to hang your license and you sold no houses, your bills don't go away. What good did that company do for you? So
Right.
people they gotta look at the return on investment.
For sure. And that goes back to what you said earlier. You said people get into this business not knowing what they're getting themselves into because they don't have a business mindset. I mean, me included. I came from an entrepreneurial family, but we never learned business the right way. So if you give me this is gonna cost $1,000, when I first got started, I'll be, oh my God, that's so much money. I can't afford that. No, I'm gonna go broke. Right. But now it's like what you're saying, it's looking at, okay, what is it gonna cost me and what's the return, right? I mean, if I'm going to spend 1,000 and I'm going to make 10,000 from it, I'm going to invest in that all day, right? So it's a 10x return. So I think it's a mindset shift on how to think about business and investing in money, right? It's literally a mindset shift. So Chuck, so you owned and ran a $2 billion company, real estate company. You were doing well. You have all these agents, one of the largest in the entire country. You're the man. You're the guy. And then you decided to partner with EXP. What was that about? Why'd you do that?
Because I'm crazy. No,
I
no.
like that answer.
Well, you have to have some level of insanity. You got to be off just a little bit to say, why would I take a company that I'm literally making millions of dollars a year profit, and the owner, to going, I'm going to be trading that all in. And so I'll lead up to it. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So for many years, in the process of building this company with my wife, and we started in '05 and almost went out of business a couple of years into it when the market crashed, but then started to build in a downtime. And then it picks up momentum. There's a thing called critical mass. And anybody in business understands when you get to a certain point of critical mass, momentum starts to take over. So that's what was happening. Then we built one of the largest physical offices in the industry, I'm going to say in the world. It was about 3 years ago. I had the vision 5 years ago. I thought I was nuts, but I'm a visionary. I could see where my future is going to be, and 9 out of 10 times I'm hitting it. So God gave me this vision of this physical space, and we built it. It was a $8 million building, 21,000 square feet. It's got a full bar, cafe, event center, game room, um, 30 offices, conference rooms. I mean, just killer office, and a 7,000 square foot patio with a bar on it where we'd have live bands. So opened that building up about 3 years ago, growing the company to about 900 agents. But before that building was built, for years, I've done a lot of podcasts for big name people throughout the country. People that want to pick my brain, and also I was on the TV 700 Club about my testimonial about God, and so agents from all over the country used to reach out to me all the time, for many years, and they'd always say the same thing: How do you coach us? We want to be around you. When are you going to build an office where we are? And the answer to all of those questions was never. I got my one office, we're successful, we're building. So a little over 2 years ago, I was approached about EXP, and basically knee-jerk reaction was, I'm not turning my office into EXP. I'm successful. That model won't work. And the conversation went a little deeper to say, well, what if you didn't have to change your office? What if you just came over? And I had the conversation with my wife and with our staff, because I go, maybe this is the platform that God's got for me to reach these agents in other states that are asking for help and support. Maybe this is the vehicle to do it in. And I said, I'd be willing to do it, but I'm not moving Revelation over, and I would want to talk to Glenn Sanford first, to be transparent what I'm going to be doing. And so I spoke to him, and he was okay with that. Saying, sure, don't steal my ideas or anything, and different company. So I've been in EXP for a few years. Now, I wasn't completely in because I still had my brokerage and I believed in my company. But what I started to notice is the type of agents this was attracting all over the country. And I was telling my wife over the years as I'm growing, I'm like, we're like alone. Like we built our company on our own. The only people that we used to get advice from that helped us grow our business was Dave Ramsey. The people that Dave hangs around with, like CEO of Ford Motor Company and Southwest Gary Kelly and owner of Chick-fil-A Dan Cathy, and big, big thinkers. And that's what you want to be around because the real estate industry didn't really have them, at least not for me and the level we worked at. But now I'm watching what EXP is all about and what they're attracting. And the problem solving they're doing for agents. So about August of last year, we were at a crossroads going, do we make Revelation EXP? And that was never my thought process, ever. And I know there's a lot of rumors out there. So you're getting it right from me. And just yesterday, somebody shot me a screenshot of, there was something on Facebook and some jackass from Maryland chimed in with some bullshit that I got paid a lot of money to sell my agents out. And furthest thing from the truth, I got not one penny from my company. $15 million company, not one penny. And so for the time leading up to it, I probably didn't sleep not one night. If most people don't realize what I did, I took something where I'm making millions of dollars and literally closing it down, shutting it down overnight. Like I literally dismantled one of the biggest brokerages in the country and just dismantled it overnight. And the mindset that you have to do that is literally, I waked up sometimes with panic attacks leading up to this, going, am I insane for doing this? Like the risk I'm taking is catastrophic. But here's what I teach all the time. And these are to the big thinkers. This ain't to the average person out there. They don't get this. But to the people who want something big in their life, if you ain't taking risks, if you ain't uncomfortable, you are not in the path to grow. And I teach this. I'm in front of hundreds of people teaching mindset. And I said to my wife, I go, I got to practice what I preach because I preach. If your vision, if your goal, if your dream doesn't scare the shit out of you, it's not big enough. And I go, this is the definition of scaring the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Literally. And we did it. We did it. We chatted with, we did our homework, got around the right people. Some of the high ups at EXP, like Chris Bear and Sam Rodriguez, these guys are rock stars. They came alongside of me and showed me that we're a family. Because that was the part that, quite honestly, Stephen, is really tough for me. Because you got to remember, this is my company. I'm the bottom line. I'm the one who calls the shots. Nobody tells me what to do. And I need to be around like-minded people. So my fear was, am I giving up everything I built to be around people I don't align with? And that was my fear. But you know what? Coming alongside and getting to meet Dave, the president of EXP, we're aligned. These are great partners. So that's why I did what I did, because I knew this was better for my agents. If it was for just for me, I'd have never done it. Now, is my goal to build bigger and make more money than I have now? Absolutely. But the only way I could do that is by taking people with me. You
Mm,
see, I built my business up and I just pay people and I have agents come and go and I care about them, but I'm not really impacting their livelihood.
right.
Now I'm going to impact their livelihood. I'm going to impact their future. My staff, who are like family to me, I can change their lives. They don't work for me now. They're not my partners. My agents don't work for me now. They're my partners. And I say all the time, if you were out there and you wanted to build one of the biggest businesses, would you seek out someone who built a $2 billion business to be your partner?
Oh
And then I
yeah.
would say, you can't afford me,
Mm,
but now you could.
sure.
Think
Mm,
about it. I wouldn't even know you if I wasn't in this. Or if you reached out to me and said, hey, Chuck, you're the owner of one of the largest brokerages in Arizona. Come on my show and share your secrets. I might come on, but I ain't sharing secrets with you.
yeah.
And that's every other company out there.
Mm,
EXP is the only company that's different. Hands
right.
down, hands down.
Wow, no, Chuck, that was great. So you made a huge commitment. I mean, um, you were running the one of the largest independent brokers in the entire country, and you had to make this decision, right? Because you saw a lot of value, right? And you can help more people and impact their lives at a higher level. What it sounds like.
Yeah, it's Stephen, compare it to what I just said to you before about return on investment. So it's the same mindset. And that's my mindset. I put everything through that funnel. I go, was this move of taking something that's worth $15 million successful and going, putting it here, is that return on investment worth the risk? That's the decision I had to make. Now, here's the part I want people to really understand, because a lot of people, if they're listening right now, they're thinking money. See, when I said, is the return on investment worth it? The first thing somebody maybe said, and maybe even you thought, well, 15, what could he make dollar wise? You see, return on investment isn't always money. You see, my return on investment is not only money. But now I'm pouring into people's lives because my big whys. See, my why in life is to glorify God in everything I do and to be a blessing to as many people, to be a servant leader. You see, is my return on investment at EXP tenfold where I couldn't do it here? That's the difference.
Mm,
That's the difference. So now, not only the money, but it's knowing that I'm filling my why in life. Because your why can't be money. If your why is money, you ain't gonna survive. It's got to be
right.
big.
Got it. Now, Chuck, can you just so what? I'm sure there's other people that are in your similar position who kind of thinking about it, but they're unsure. Can you go over maybe some of the misconceptions about the company,
Oh,
um, and
absolutely.
kind of because I think that's one of the biggest things right now. A lot of people don't really understand it. They do, including myself. Before I came, it took me almost a whole year to make the decision because I thought I knew, but it wasn't until I started getting educated, like you said, and really understand the value. That's when I jumped right away. Now, can you just kind of go over that and maybe talk a little bit about where the company's going in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, or at least your opinion on where you see it going?
Absolutely. So I had to deal with the biggest misconceptions, and we're a fear based creature. There's a reason in the Bible they call us sheep. Sheep are the most skittish animals out there that if they don't have a leader or they follow the wrong leader, that they're always looking that way. So what happens is we're in information overload society right now. So our competition, and yeah, I do the word competition. I know people go, oh, they're not real. Look, if somebody competes for your business, they're competition no matter how you look at it. But when people get into agents' ears and they create these narratives, they put things in people's minds that people sometimes don't think for themselves. So here's what you were just asking. What are some of the misconceptions? Misconception number one, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. Well, let me tell you something. I've been in network marketing many, many, many years ago. It's network marketing is one of the coolest ways of doing business. It's a viable way of doing business, just like anything else. It's just the vehicle they do business in. What that means is instead of spending money on advertising and physical space, they'll take a person and they'll say to a person, here's the product. If you sell the product to another person, we'll give you a piece of it instead of paying an advertisement, instead of putting an ad on the TV. We're using human beings to market our product, and in return, we pay you. Now, when somebody hears that, they go, well, that makes sense. Well, that's network marketing. But you see, there's people out there that regurgitate stuff that have no idea what they're regurgitating. Oh, it's a pyramid scheme. Why? Because it looks like a pyramid? Because usually when you do stuff like that, the bottom grows bigger than the top. Somebody labeled that. So number one, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's a multi-level marketing platform. It's just another way of doing business. Instead of the company, like all the traditional companies out there, that they'll pay people to recruit and put an office and do that to build their companies. So instead of doing it like that model where a few people make a lot of money, they're saying, hey, agents, we're still a real estate company. It's like every other one, but we're just going to put our profits in your pocket for helping us build the company. It just blows my mind how illiterate some people are. But hey, that's the world we live in. That's misconception number one, that we're a pyramid scheme. No. First of all, pyramid schemes are illegal. We're a publicly traded company. We're probably one of the few companies you can see all of our numbers. You didn't see that with Keller Williams. Profit share is a joke. Do I know that? I own a company. If I profit shared with people, I could sit and I'll just tell them what the profit is. I'll make my house payment, my car payment. I went on vacation. Yeah, that was a business trip. And whatever's left over, I'll give you. Joke. Anyway, that's number one. Number two is people say, well, EXP is just for big producers, big team leaders, not solo agents like me. No, quite the opposite. You see, as a solo agent, especially if you're brand new, are you kidding me? To have these big producing agents pour into you, you won't get that at any other company. You know why? Because they look at you as like, nah, you don't make me any money. No, we're like, we want you to make money because when you make money, we make money. Complete opposite thought process. So if you're a solo agent out there and that was your thought, you're missing out on the best opportunity to be around the biggest players in the industry. How about this? If you're a brand new agent out there, I challenge you, reach out to me and ask me for some advice because you wouldn't be able to afford me anywhere else. I bet you I tell you, that's the difference. So that's another misconception of the company. The other one is that we're not a real estate company. We don't do business. Well, that bit's going right out the window. We're being ranked as one of the top brokerages in the country, and you only do that by selling real estate. We're a real estate company with some of the biggest hitters, and they're coming. More and more are coming, like-minded. So there's three debunks I gave you of what people think out there.
I agree. And you one of the things you said was you have these top producers who are pouring into you. right? Because it's a different thinking, right? It's a different way of thinking of the way the model's set up, and that's honestly one of the main reasons why I went over. Yes, as instant savings, right? There's all these other benefits, right? The stock awards, the rev share. We can talk about all these for an hour each, right? But the main thing is that I saw value in partnering with people like yourself, Chuck, that you can pour not only into me, but the people that I partner with, right? And my team, so they can learn from people like you, and we can get to hopefully your level in a shorter period of time, right? So I saw a lot of value in that. And I think any agent who is looking to grow and wants to get to that next level will see value in that. So I think that's why I know where this company is going long term. And like you said, the big hitters are coming. They're already here, and it's only going to get bigger and better, right? Now, Chuck, what's your opinion on where do you see the company in the next 3-5 years, or have you heard of anything that people
Yes.
should know?
Yeah, some pretty cool stuff. Before I do that, you said something which triggered, I think, another big misconception. If you don't
Yeah,
mind me touching on it really
yeah,
quick, here's the other big misconception: is EXP. If I go to EXP, I have to recruit agents. I'm not a recruiter. Big misconception, guys. It's just a part of the business that's available if you want it. Here's what I will tell you: running one of the biggest brokerages in the country, two things. Team leaders, you are recruiters. You are recruiters. That's what you do. So don't say, oh, I don't want to go to a company and be a recruiter, but yet I want to build the team. The other thing is, do you know how many agents actually recruit for me? I don't call them recruiters. Here's what they do. They're at a company. Somebody says, hey, what do you think of that company? And you go, I love that company. Let me get you in with the team leader. Does that make you a recruiter? No, but here's the thing. Did you make money from the company when they send someone over? Probably not. So you're an attractor. You don't have to recruit agents, but it is available if you want it, and you can do it by accident. That I wanted to touch on
yeah,
that. Future of the company. Here's one of the cool things that we're starting to see. I'm in the mastermind group there with the big leaders, and they share stuff that's coming down the pipeline. And I think Dave is a phenomenal leader of this company, and he's a big thinker. I like the way he is. So one of the things that we do right now is we talk about our production and selling the real estate, but the backbone of the company are the people who are also building it. The people who do recruit the agents and bring in the agents, the big players, the big team leaders. So what they're going to start to do is recognize those type of people and the numbers. So you'll be able to see who are the big recruiters in the company, who are the big dollar makers. Now they're not going to tell you exactly what people make, but we're hoping and thinking that we're going to give you brackets because quite honestly, somebody like me, I want to know what am I capable of making. So they're going to start to show some of those numbers. So that is going to be exciting for multiple levels. One, for the people already at the company, because it'll motivate you, get you excited. Number two, great recruiting tool. To sit and say, look what these people are doing. And I have to tell you, a lot of these big players, including myself, I'm very competitive, man. I don't like to be number two. I want to be number one in everything. And it's kind of funny because my wife's the same way, and she's in under a different spot, so she's pissed more than anything that I'm above her, and just the numbers. So coming down the pipeline, those are some of the cool things. The other things people have to realize is, as a company, we own Verbella, which is a platform that could be used by any industry. And that benefits the company because you own stock in it. Think about that. You own part of a company that it's outside of real estate, which is huge. So those are some of the things that they have coming down the pipeline, thinking bigger. How do we grow the company? How do we form more relationship with ancillary partners to bring income into the company itself? Because I ran a company, and there's a lot more different ways the company makes money than just off of agent fees and production. So now, Stephen, you're part owners of this company. You'll start to realize Wow, I make money because we're using a title company and a lender and maybe home warranty. Like, you're going to get excited about this because you're part owner of it. So
Yeah.
those are cool stuff coming down the pipeline.
And just, yesterday, I've been in the company for about 2 weeks. I had my first stock. I got it yesterday.
Yeah.
Deducted. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's real.
Yeah.
And long term, I see where it can go and where it's going to go. Right. So
You know,
I'm
people say, well, it's not a lot of money. Number one, it adds up. Number two is the stock may go up a real lot, which we're banking on. And number three, let's just say it doesn't. You didn't get stock for doing what you're doing now with your company.
right. Now, Chuck, maybe one or two last questions. I'll let you go. Let's talk about. Let's shift a little bit now. What's going on right now with coronavirus, right, and the market? What should agents or what should we be doing right now to really grow our business and thrive through this? Mindset wise, production wise, what should people be doing to really,
I just had a conversation with a group of my agents just yesterday about this. And I don't take what's going on lightly. I'm not saying, is it true? Is it not true? Look, it's true. People are getting it. Do I know how many numbers? Do I really think it's the end of the world? No, I don't. And even if it is, you can't control it anyway. I do believe in taking precaution. And but here's what I say. I think a lot of agents use that as an excuse not to work. Now I don't know every state, and I don't know what the laws are and the rules are, and I do know some states are stricter than others. We're not as strict. We're allowed to do open houses with precaution. We're allowed to show homes. Here's what I say to agents: if you're in a state that you could work, work. Stop thinking. Work business as usual. That mindset. Okay, put a mask on, put gloves on, but don't think differently, because when you think differently, you portray that to other people. Work as if there's nothing wrong. Period. Literally radically clear the state, because there are people out there looking to buy homes who don't care about if there's a virus or not. And you know what? Here's the cool thing. You have less competition right now, because most agents out there, here's what they do. Oh, I can't work. There's a virus. And they use it as an excuse not to work. Work. Take precautions. But if you're in a state that can work, business as usual, and you'll see that you'll kill it.
got it. I like that answer, because right now a lot of people's mindset has shifted, and it's controlling them. I mean, everyone, everyone, everywhere you go, it's the same topic, right? And especially us entrepreneurs, it's definitely a mindset shift that we need to change in order to, like you said, just get to work, pretend like nothing's wrong, and continue going forward.
Absolutely. Look, there's always something. I don't get people. Here's what I tell people. There's always something going on in the world that could affect your life. And just let's say the coronavirus wasn't there, do you stop living because you can get cancer, because you can get this, because you can get that? Because do you not drive your car because you could die in a car accident? Do you not eat processed food because you can get? I don't
Exactly.
get it. Look, man, life is life. We go as human beings. A lot of people, when I speak to them, they have this mindset like that they're preserving their life. I'm radical when I speak. I sit and here's what I say. I know it may sound morbid, but I go, look, you're going to die one day. Every one of us die one day. Do you want to just sit around and wait for it to happen, or go live your life? You will die one day. And let's just say you go, oh my gosh, now I'm allowed to go out. Let's just say the coronavirus is completely gone, completely wiped out. And I got in my car to drive to work and I died in a car accident. There you go. What did that accomplish? You
Right.
lived it. You see, that's how I live.
No, yeah, and I think the same way. And I wake up very grateful every day because, like you said, it can happen at any time. You can't control it. It's guaranteed. So live life to the fullest, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Chuck, so I really appreciate your time, man. You gave a lot of information. I really, thank you so much for coming on. I just wanted to leave with one last question. So what's one thing I didn't ask you that I should have asked you, or something that you want to leave off with?
Let's see. What didn't you ask me? Uh, I don't know. I can't think of a question you didn't ask me, but
What about this? What do you read books? And if you do, what books would you recommend?
I don't read.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. I'm one of those people. I don't regurgitate things because everybody regurgitates them. Where some people say, hey, I plan out the year, I write it down. Look, I don't write nothing down. I'm the worst at that. I'm God's given me a gift. I'm a visionary. I can see my visions and I know how to go after them. I don't read books because my mind just starts to wander. And, you know, then I say, do I listen to audiobooks? Yeah, I do, but after a while my mind starts to wander. But I do get through a lot of audiobooks. There is one book that I just it just motivates me. I'm one of those people that I sometimes I just like to run through a brick wall. And it's I think it's called Unstoppable. There's two words used. Yeah, I think it's called Unstoppable. If it's not Unstoppable, I'll text you um, who it is, and it's the guy who coached the pro basketball players, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, um,
Yeah. Tim Grover.
Tim Grover. There you
Yeah.
go. Is the book Unstoppable?
I don't know. What's the name?
I know, right?
Is it we're almost there.
No, because he uses the word unstoppable too, but I don't think that's the word of the name of the book. Um, but anyway, that book, that guy, the way he speaks, you know, he talks about coolers and
Relentless.
relentless. There you go. That's the word, relentless. I love that book. I mean, that book just drives me. I mean, I'm a guy that just I get motivated. So
Right.
yeah,
All right. Well, there you go. Relentless from Tim Grover. Check it out.
yeah.
If someone wanted to reach out to you, if they had maybe a referral for you in Arizona, or how can they, or they had a question about, bringing a huge company over to EXP or anything in general, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, you could easily find me through any social media platform. Just look up Chuck Fazio or the iconic power couple. You'll find me and my wife. Very easy to find. Yeah.
All right. There you go. Well, Chuck, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your time. Hopefully definitely we're going to meet in person one day.
Yes.
And, and I look forward to the future and growing this company with you. And again, you gave a lot of information, a lot of value, and that was the goal for today. So thanks so much, man.
All right, Stephen. Pleasure, buddy.
All right, Chuck. Be good. Be safe. And broadcast.